It is February 4th, 2025, and we're talking to Act Sorry. You guys want to go around and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Bailey. I play bass and I sing in Act Sorry.
Hi, I'm Kashawn. I play drums and I sing in Act Sorry.
Hello, I'm Danny and I play the lead guitar and Act Sorry and Act Sorry.
It's an important role.
Yes.
Cool. And I understand you guys are not all based in Philly. Who's where?
So me and Bailey are in Philly right now, and Danny is in New York City. We try to go back and forth between Philly and New York City as much as we can. I'm originally from Queens, New York, so that's how me and Danny know each other. Well, we know each other through his fiance, but that's beside the point. But yeah, so we try and go back and forth between Philly and New York City.
Cool.
What kind of music would you say you guys play?
I'd say we definitely started writing a lot of like pop punk stuff. Really trying to fill that niche, that early 2000s, State Champs, Fall Out Boy sort of vibe. But now we're trying to go into a world that we like to call a little bit more heavy pop, where we want to bring in a little bit more metal influence, some heavier stuff, some more detuned guitars, but try to keep it, I don't know, I guess like produced cleanly and like enjoyable to listen to music, as is always the goal.
Yep.
Think of like oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I guess like the best way to describe it, at least how I've been describing it to people, is like take Britney Spears' Toxic, and then take all the instrumentals out, leave the vocals, all of it, and put that into Change in the House of Flies by Deftones. And that's kind of what we are ascribing to be.
Nice.
Very nice. What would you say, both individually and as a band, your main musical influences are?
Oh, God. Too many to count. I'd say for this band, we try to go, still stay in that realm of like 2000s kind of pop/pop punk. So like bands like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, State Champs, but also there's a lot of newer acts that are kind of in this realm that we're trying to play around in. So bands like The Home Team, Honey Revenge, Stand Atlantic, kind of pushing that genre envelope weirdness and kind of taking that and putting it into kind of new contexts, if that makes any sense, for the band. Individually, at least for me, I'm a post-hardcore kid till the day I die. Under Oath, Silverstein, they're not post-hardcore, but I will count them. Beartooth, that kind of stuff. I'm also a new metal kid, so I'm sadly a huge fan of Limp Bizkit, and anytime I hear Rollin', I have to be like, turn it up, we gotta listen to it. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
Influences for me, definitely ditto all of Sean's, specifically for the band as well, but huge influence for me is Waterparks. Definitely trying to blend like a whole lot of synth with like that pop punk sound and just really fun, vibey music. As of recently, I forget what it's called, but like my dirty pleasure is Electric Callboy right now. Like German, like house techno music, but just throw on a double drop D baritone guitar and chef's kiss all around everything that I love.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me it's a little more varied. Actually some of my first exposure to music was through Guitar Hero 3, if anybody knows that game. And they have, in the game, you use run through the decades. We play 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s music. And so there's a lot of stuff in there. Like metal, there's prog rock even. So I don't have any specific, but yeah, that game was big.
Nice.
Very cool.
Cool. So then I guess, how long have you guys been playing music individually, and then how long has Act Sorry been a project?
I've been playing music since freshman year of high school. So that's going on, oh my god, 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, 9 years, I think.
That sounds right.
I started playing in, like, jazz band and, like, the school rock band. We were doing covers of, like, AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne, Gotta Get Crazy Train in there, but I could never do the solo. That was, like, my main, like, stepping stones into playing with other people, playing in bands, and then I finally made my own band outside of school, like, junior year. And then, as all great high school bands do, that eventually died whenever I went to college.
Mm-hmm.
And started another band with Sean before this one that lasted about a year, and then we moved on to Act Sorry, which is going on about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years, yeah.
Nice.
I would say for me, I started playing music in like middle school, middle school band, percussion ensemble, concert band, things like that. So that was, probably around 15 years ago, maybe, something like that. A weird, exorbitant double-digit number like that. And, throughout the years, started my own band in high school, as you do. Was in a few different bands in high school. I was kind of known as, like, the band drummer guy. Like, if you needed a drummer for a band, I usually said yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was either that or it was that one. So I was in 2 bands as a drummer, and then I was in like a pop rock band as like a bassist and singer. I was all in high school, and then in college I was in a band called Ghost Bus with Vague Positivity alum Max Glazier. Big fan, big friend of his. Love that guy. And yeah, as Bailey said, me and Bailey were in a band prior to Act Sorry that lasted about 1.5 years. Now we're in Act Sorry, and yeah, it's been going on for about 2.5 years.
Cool. What was the band that you guys were in together called?
My ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend.
Yes, it was a pop punk band called My Ex-Girlfriend's Ex-Boyfriend. That was a time. It was certainly a time.
That's good.
Danny, it's your turn to answer the question now.
Yes. I was thinking about that band. Yeah.
Thanks,
No,
Danny.
so for myself, I mostly played for myself back when in middle school. Also, I never got the chance to really join a band up until college, but I did play a few talent shows in middle school and high school, so that was nice. I had actually auditioned to be in Bailey and Kashawn's old band. But
In My
as they
Ex-Girlfriend's
said,
Boyfriend.
yeah, well, as they said, that was a time.
It was a time.
Yeah, we are Act Sorry now.
Cool.
To make a very long story short, things happened in that band that weren't great. We decided to cut ties and start our own thing. The person who was the head of that band, things happened.
I got
We
hit
weren't a
with
fan
cease
of
and
it.
desist, you know.
Yeah,
You lose
It was-
intellectual rights.
it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I don't think
but,
I can legally even talk about it.
I don't
according
know
to
how much we
what
are
I
actually allowed to say.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for saying as much as you have.
Yeah.
Fallen.
That's more than enough to
Yes,
Google or go through Instagram
Yes,
or
yes.
whatever I'm gonna do after this.
Yes.
Cool. So then I guess how and when did you guys meet? The three of you.
So me and Bailey met in college, freshman year of college. We met maybe, honestly, I want to say we met maybe like the second or third day of college. I remember you coming down to Terra and talking to me about like just dumb school bullshit. We had before classes had started, or no, as classes started, we had the same like English class essentially in college. So that's how we met, and we had classes together over the years. We never really like interacted a lot, but that was mainly just because of how college is. You don't really. Sometimes you just keep your head down and you don't really talk to people. That's kind of how I was.
There was one time, freshman year, I substituted as the bass player for Ghost Bus, thanks to Max knowing me. And that was just another chance where I got to play with. That was the first time I ever got to play with Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, period.
So we had, interacted here and there and obviously seen each other around. We were definitely good acquaintances, but we had never, like, done stuff together outside of that one Ghost Bus performance. And then December 2022 rolls around, and Bailey texts me. He's like, hey, I have this, like, opportunity I think that'll be pretty cool. This was not the start, but at least this was my start into my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. I was playing lead guitar for them at the time. That then switched over to drums for a whole myriad of things. The original drummer of the band was moving, and we didn't have time to find another drummer, so I said, I'll be the drummer, and then we'll try and find another lead guitarist, and that is how Danny comes into the story. We went to find a lead guitarist. We couldn't find anyone that we really liked, and I had known Danny from, again, we are friends based off of his fiance, who was my best friend in high school. So I call her and I'm like, hey, I know Danny's kind of like a shredder. Do you think he'd be down to like come through and like not play a show, just like do a rehearsal with us? And long story short, we stole him from like, he wasn't in a band at the time. We just like stole him and took him for ourselves. That band, my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, died after a very
long process.
A very long process. And we all kind of, after that, looked at what we had, because we still had a pretty decent, collection bevy of songs. We looked at what we had done in the past year and a half with that band, and we said, well, we don't want all this good work to go to waste. What do we do? And we all kind of came to the collective decision to start Act Sorry as the next project. So yeah, I don't know if
Wes being on the sidelines.
Oh my god! How could I forget?
Both bands.
Actually, no. Wes is amazing, and how could I forget his inclusion in the story? Wes and Miles. So Miles, who's not here, they are our managers. They are amazing people. We love them dearly. They come into the story as my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. We had played a festival called Launch Music Festival and Conference in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Great event, great people run it, and that's where we met. That's where we met Wes and Miles, who were running the venue or running the show as volunteers. And like,
only complaint, we couldn't get any fucking water.
We couldn't get any water.
Get a goddamn bottle of water anywhere.
And Wes and Miles
only
being
Red
the
Bull.
absolute only Red Bull. But Wes and Miles being the absolute legends they were able to get us a case of water, and literally since then we've been in this amazing partnership, and they also saw the downfall of my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, because they were also the managers of my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. So, yeah, that is the very long, or very truncated, short, long story short version of how Act Sorry came to be today.
Very cool. How did you come up with the name Act Sorry?
Random name generator, baby, and it kind of fit. And it was
Random
kinda
name
awesome.
generator, but also the name doesn't mean anything. It is a random name generator, but also it's kind of the idea of like, what does it mean to even like be sorry for something? Like, instead of actually apologizing or being sorry, as a lot of people just tend to act act sorry about the things that they should be apologizing for. So it is kind of thematic, but it's also like the Childish Gambino, like it's a random name generator. Like don't take it too seriously.
I think at the time it really came into play because we just left my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Like,
Yeah, I remember that day
I was
so
getting-
vividly.
Yeah.
I was being hit with email after email,
And because of like the whole legal thing that was happening at that time, we were all getting hit with like a myriad of like, hey, shut up, don't talk about this, or I'll sue your ass. And they weren't empty threats, so that was scary.
No, they were not. That's
So-
the really scary part.
We all actually had to like act sorry. So the random name generator came into play, and we were like, "This fits so well right now," because we were all
It was-
acting sorry, so we didn't get.
It was
sued.
almost a very scary coincidence, but we decided to not think about that.
Random name generator. Yay.
yeah.
Awesome. So, I guess I know the answer already for some of you guys, but you want to talk about where you went to school and what you studied?
Sure. Do you want to take it, Bailey?
No, I was just gonna say you take it for a second. I'm gonna silence my dog.
No, chill, you're good. So me and Bailey went to University of the Arts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Rest in peace. We were both acting majors, which is the funny part. We didn't go to school for music, or rather, we didn't go to higher education for music, I should say. I studied music theory. I went to a performing arts high school for 4 years, so I studied, music theory and things like that for, not at a higher education basis, but still at a baseline American education. But then Danny, as I said, we know him through mutual friends. Oh God, I don't remember where Danny went to school to. Danny, where'd you go to school to?
Yeah, I went to LaGuardia Community College, which is kind of how I met, Alexandra, my fiance,
Nice.
and now I go to John Jay.
Yes.
What do
I
you?
used to, yeah, my major was civil engineering for some reason. I didn't dig it, so I changed it. I'm doing comp sci now. Comp sci
Cool.
better
Cool.
every way.
Better in every way.
Yeah.
That's a take.
So I outside of music, it sounds like for some of you acting, but what other kinds of forms of art do you do? Hobbies, interests, stuff like that.
For me, it's mostly music and acting. A lot of high school, I would do. Oh, the buddy, silence. Through a lot of high school, I would do dance for musical theater. So I would do some acrobatics and some tumbling and stuff like that. I really liked being upside down on my hands in the air, and all of that shit. And then throughout college, I studied a lot of stage combat. I'm actually certified in 4 different forms of stage combat: unarmed, single sword, broadsword, and rapier dagger. So you need an actor who can fight with only 3 dissertations of weapons. Let me know, because I'll let you know if I can do that. 50-50 shots. There's 8.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
No problem.
For me personally, I am, music and acting are big. I am a big, video guy. I love video editing. I love, video, composition. I do, not orchestration. That's not the word I'm trying to do. But yeah, it's orchestrations. I do, film scoring. I freelance stuff. I scored a film, or a friend of mine's thesis film a few months back to Senda, and that was a really great experience. I love photography. I basically do anything that has to do with moving pictures or squiggly invisible lines in the air that are music. Those things fill me with a lot of light in life.
Nice.
One of my main hobbies is like video games, like RPGs specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of those when I was a kid, and I just, I've been playing them for a minute. But from time to time, I will delve into like photography. I've got a couple of photography apps on my phone, and some of them are collecting dust. Gonna be real with you, but sometimes if I go like out, if I go on like vacation, I'll just take it out, take some nice photos.
Nice. Do you have a favorite RPG game?
Yes, and Kashaw knows which one it is.
Because it's also my favorite too. It's Kingdom Hearts.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Such a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Cool. So then I guess going back to the band and the music a little more, what is your writing process like for Act Sorry?
Ooh, I think it definitely depends on like the song and like where we're going. We all write for the band, whether it's instrumentations or lyrics. I'll say, at least personally, how I view it, I'll say Bailey's our main like songwriter, or at least instrumentalist. No, and songwriter, lyricist. He'll
I sing it. I like to write it.
exactly. Usually, it'll either be one of us comes up with some type of part. Whether it's like, it usually starts with like a guitar part from Danny. Oh, actually, we can take Danny's DeVito, for instance, because that song started out as Danny came up with this really cool guitar riff. That's the intro and basically the whole song. And for us, we were like, oh, this gives us like a real like stadium rock, like J-rock, kind of like One OK Rock kind of sound. How do we kind of build on that? And then that guitar riff, me and Bailey took, and we just built upon that with drums and bass. And then from there, we just fleshed out the song together as a trio, seeing what we can build upon, as well as just like what sounds cool and what feels cool to play. I don't want to speak too much for everyone, so Bailey or Danny, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll definitely say I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to some songs and like the recording process of it. I guess the real writing process is I sit on songs for 2 years until everyone tells me we need to finally get it out. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, I come up with a riff and I sit on it for a hot minute. I try to flesh out like with MIDI drums, or like I go to Sean's and like we just kind of workshop it, drum and bass in the room, and maybe put a few lyrics to it there. But I kind of isolate 9 times out of 10 whenever I'm writing it. But whenever it comes to recording it and like actually fleshing out the song, I try to incorporate everyone as much as possible. But damn, Danny being in New York and my impatient self is really hard to work with sometimes, so I end up just programming MIDI drums and getting amp sims and calling it a day,
Mm-hmm.
We'll have multiple versions of the same song as like, oh, demo 1, demo 2, and like demo 3, and like there may not even be like super like different changes between them, but it's just the fact of like, oh, Danny has a new guitar sim plugin that'll sound really good with the song, or oh, I rewrote a drum part that now we have to track back or like MIDI back into the song. So it is a really cool collaborative process where everyone is involved. It also just means getting songs out takes a lot of meticulous time, because we are like Bailey says he's a control freak. We're all kind of crazy when it comes to that. I think we're all very, very meticulous when it comes to tone, when it comes to sound, like even programmed synth MIDI stuff. Like we're all very as hands-on as we all want to be, which means we're all very hands-on. But I think it's cool.
Cool.
We're also starting to adopt a new we're going to start trying this with the next songs that we're going to release after Danny's DeVito. We're going to try to record everything ourselves, and then our friend Zeki up in New York, who...
Shout out Zeki.
Kashawn and Danny both introduced me to back in the my ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend days. He is the one who mixed and recorded Danny's DeVito for us, so we're just going to send him all of the stems, hopefully, to mix that shit and make us sound wonderful.
Very
Awesome.
cool. How about specifically for lyrics? You guys said Bailey sort of does a lot of that. How do you approach writing lyrics and coming up with lyrics? And are there like certain themes that you often explore?
A lot of themes that I really like to explore are just like big emotions. Really, like Danny's DeVito, once again coming back, it's just the single. It's just about getting real upset and not knowing how to control that, you know, like almost like throwing a little bit of a tantrum. Like, I have these big feelings. I'm upset. I'm mad. I might laugh. I might cry. But you know what? It's fine. Like, yeah, so emotions are really big things for me, and specific things that happen in my life, like little chunks of times. There are 2 songs that we have written, Small Fry and Wasted Time, that are both about just like days that happened in my life. One was about a night that I didn't get any sleep because I ended up bar hopping and going to different clubs with random friends and needed to make sure that they were safe. Then the other one is about my best friend just being an absolute nightmare and having a girlfriend who wants to beat my ass for some reason.
We deal a lot with big emotions and like time fragmented pieces of our lives.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And just kind of, yeah.
You guys have a fascinating life here going on. My ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, that whole era could be its own sitcom. All these other things. Yeah.
There's a lot to draw on there, I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first like 4 songs that we wrote were just about
Yeah.
like the old band and just like being bitter and being upset, and then eventually we had to be like, no, stop it. We need to move on. We need to move past this. We can't stop just wallowing in our own little ex-boyfriend ex-band.
Yeah. But I think us dealing with big emotions in terms of writing means that we can kind of like it's I guess the Coldplay effect, you know, of like Yellow isn't really about something, but it's so universal that people take it, and not only do they make it about something, they make it about something so very specific to them. That's kind of what I wanted to do with Blood and Water, in a way, of like, this is about a very, very specific moment in time, but hopefully the imagery that the lyrics are giving are artisty or flowery enough to where you can take yourself out of that moment and take whatever that specific context is and put yourself and your own context into it. I think that's really where our strongest suits lie in songs like Blood and Water and Danny DeVito, where it's just the big emotions are there and there's context there for these songs, but you don't have to know that. And if anything still relates to you with what we're saying, like that's the takeaway. That's what we want you to take away from.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, recording and production for the music. You talked a little bit about this, and you have a friend in New York who does the mixing. Do you want to talk about how that process has gone since you've now released a single?
Well, this is the newest single.
Yeah.
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 Oh, you meant just released. I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So for Danny's DeVito specifically, we went down to New York City. Rather, we, as in me and Bailey, went down to New York City to record at Zeke's studio there, or what was there at the time. He just moved studios recently, which is congrats to him. But we found the process of doing that was really cool. You know, the like scenery change is obviously really important, especially when you're dealing with art like this, or just like, you know, we've sat on a song for so long, we've been playing it for however many long, that like we know it inside and out. Being able to be in a different place to do it for real was a really cool thing. It felt nice to do it in a different space, as well as to work with someone who we know very dearly, who knows our music, or at least our styles of playing very well. And, it just furthers the collaborative process of everything. We have all the know-how and wherewithal to record everything ourselves where we are. Just sending everything over to Zeki not only makes it just less work on Bailey, who's been primarily our mixer producer for this entire time and has done an amazing job, mind you. I don't want to say you haven't. You've been doing an amazing job, obviously, but it just
get that initial Blood and Water release and everything else.
But it takes more work off of Bailey so that we can focus more on just making the art. It takes less work off of me for figuring out drum tones and drum production and things like that, so we can focus on the creation of it. And then when Zeki comes back with mixes and mix references, we can go, we like that, we don't like that. We can really have a dialogue and a conversation that really aids everyone involved. So it's been a really cool collaborative process that I really have just been enjoying this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So then I guess, I actually want to go a little rogue. So obviously Danny's DeVito was just released in the past week or so. You want to tell us about the release, how it's been, now that the song is out, and kind of any, any notes on the process of releasing that single?
I think this one has a little bit of a certain weight to it, in my opinion. We haven't released anything in a minute, and we were pretty stagnant. All of last year, we dropped off with socials. We weren't playing too many shows. It was just kind of bad luck after bad luck on Axari's end. Shows were getting canceled, postponed. And we were also, we being me and Sean, really trying to delve into the venue world and hosting shows as well. So we really wanted to come back this time with something that was really a step up from anything else that we've done. And we really wanted to show that we were proud of this one. And I don't know, there's always a certain timidness every time you put out a piece, the nerves of, will people like it? Is this mix bad? Is it good? What do they think about my voice? Yada, yada, yada. But this one, at least for me, I've been really trying to just get over that, not really even let that into my brain, just acknowledge that it's a thought and move on. Repost my stuff on my personal account, show this is what I've done with my friends. This is something that I am proud of, and I want you along for the ride. And I really think that's the message that we're also trying to portray with this. Hey, we're a young band. You don't know us yet, but this is our song. We want you along for the ride. There's so much more to come because this is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to echo that, I mean, I'm really proud of it. I've been really proud of this song since we wrote it, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe at this point. Two. But I've always had a very strong affinity for this song. Maybe just because of the references that we put upon ourselves to make this song of specifically stadium rock, J-rock, that kind of stuff. I'm a big sucker for that kind of thing. But in terms of the response, people have just been really liking it so far. Not just friends or anything. People have DM'd the venue who know us, or DM'd me and been oh dude, the new song's great. It's I haven't talked to you in a year. Thank you. It's a really humbling moment. It feels really good, and I'm hoping that this just means that we keep the momentum going in terms of just putting more stuff out there. Yeah, like Bailey said, we definitely had a rough 2024. Did not play as many shows as we wanted to. Didn't put out as much as we wanted to. A lot of just bad luck on the band. And I think, despite everything, I'm just feeling this weird kind of like optimism and like kind of aura around the band. It feels really nice.
Awesome.
Very cool, yeah. So I, on that note, what's next? What's upcoming?
Basically, I've spent all day today working on 2 tracks. One is called Dance Time, and the other one is called Greed. They are really, really leaning into the heavy pop element of everything. Greed is very metalcore. And like new metal. I'm trying to wear that influence on my sleeve for that one. And Dance Time is, as the title says, like, it's motherfucking dance time. Like, it is water parks, it is Electric Callboy, it is dancey, it is a club banger. And like, both songs make you want to move in 2 totally different ways.
Every
And
person.
they're also about 2 very different things, about a very, very wonderful time to be alive, and just the downfall of society through corporate greed, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone can put themselves somewhere on the dance time to greed spectrum.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
every person
One of those
is
Venn
one way or another, yeah.
Every moment,
I think
really.
the future for Act Sorry is we're gonna do what we want and stop caring as much. I think, especially for me and Bailey, as 2 like very emotional artists, we put a lot of ourselves in the things that we do. Act Sorry is no different, and I think because of that, I don't want to speak for Bailey, but at least for me, I definitely do tend to get very nervous and scared when putting out songs and releases of the
Absolutely.
like, whether or not
I'm
it's
always scared and nervous.
yeah, but I think now we've really streamlined how we kind of do our like recording and like production pipeline, and we're really proud of the things that we're making right now. We're really excited for people to hear the Dance Time and Greed and all the other stuff that we have that's still on the docket getting made. But I think it's just the year of like, fuck it, let's do it. I think that's Act Sorry's motto this year. It's just like, you know, we've been around for a little bit. No one knows who we are still. This is good. Let's just keep going.
Awesome.
Nice.
So then I guess our last question is just, why are you a musician?
This is the fucking best.
That's true.
Yeah. What else gives you that feeling? You know? Like, there's a certain feeling whenever you are in a crowd and you are being carried by that artist, by that band, by the music being played by the DJ. Like, you feel that in you, and I'll say, while that's very unique to art, in my opinion, there's a certain thing about music, because you can still get all warm and fuzzy if you watch an amazing piece of theater, dance, movie, but something about music moves you, and that's what I've always aspired to do. I want to take 30 minutes on a stage, and I want to hold everyone in that crowd for 30 minutes and not drop them the entire time, and just take them on a journey and take them on a show and distract them for 30 minutes.
Nice.
It's the feeling of, it's that, you know, echoing everything Bailey said, but also there's an amazing cover of David Bowie's Heroes by Peter Gabriel. If you have not heard it, I highly recommend you check it out. It is one of the most beautiful things you'll ever hear. And the lyrics of Heroes is something like and the bullets went above our heads as we kissed, and the wall fell down, and the shame was on the other side. And there's something about music, about lyricism, about being on a stage or being in a crowd, having a lyric like that, any lyric that can penetrate your heart and your soul in a way that is like important. And it may not be important to anyone else but you. That feeling and that lyric to me is like the feeling that I'm like chasing as a musician. Like I want someone to feel how I feel listening to that song. And it doesn't matter if it's through my own music or through like if I'm DJing or like whatever. Music is such a beautiful, powerful thing where people can sing to instruments that may or may not even be real, and your ears can perceive that and go, something about this is calling to me. I guess that's a really roundabout way of saying the exact same thing that Bailey just said. Vibes.
Yeah, I definitely echo a lot of the same sentiments that Bailey and Sean have laid out. I started out with guitar simply because it was cool. I heard a lot of cool riffs, a lot of cool solos, and I was like, I wish I could do that someday. And as I developed musically, I realized, hey, I'm half decent and I can create some pretty good stuff. Like, it makes me feel good, and I want whoever's listening to also feel the same, just like they said.
Awesome.
That, and we're totally in it for the money too.
Oh, absolutely. I love getting paid
so much money all the time. Just my back hurts from sitting on my wallet of 50s and 100s,
Yeah.
DIY music is really lucrative.
I don't even know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah. That's why you started a venue too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I started a venue
Well, we
in
had to
my
put that money
basement
into
to make
something.
more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really an investment scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just a tax write-off, honestly.
It's a tax write-off.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Well, that is the end of our scheduled questions. Is there anything that we missed? Anything that you definitely want included in the interview or in the write-up?
Stream Danny's DeVito.
Stream Danny's DeVito. When will this be out?
20. We'll probably upload the interview before the 22nd, but the actual issue of Funhouse.
So sorry.
Oh yeah, we'll probably upload the interview before the 22nd, but the issue of Funhouse will be out on the 22nd on the show. So
Perfect, great. Stream Danny's DeVito. Come to Little Big Planet whenever you can. We usually do shows this time, or this year we're doing shows pretty much Fridays, and you can check out the when on our Instagram at lpb.phl, and follow us on at Axari Band on like all socials.
Awesome.
very
Well,
cool.
thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.